So I want to flash back a little bit in time just so I can kind of paint a story for you guys. 10 years ago, I was running a credit and debt settlement company in Tampa, Florida. It was in the financial boom. I was doing really well. I was making all this money, but I was 40 pounds overweight. I was tired all the time. I was depressed. I was lethargic. I would wake up on the weekends and I would go out and I would get sloppy drunk every weekend just to cope with what I was doing during the week. I wasn't really passionate. I wasn't really excited about what I was doing. So I coped in many different ways. And alcohol was one of those ways. I was making great money, but I wasn't really, really happy. So I had a mentor at the time, Frank Scheidler, one of the greatest human beings I've ever met. I call him my living sage because I met with this guy for literally 4 years in a row every morning for breakfast. He's like this. He's probably like 110 now, still alive, still just as coherent as any single one of us in this room. And he told me, he said, Drew, if you do anything at all, make sure you do something to give back to other people. And at the time, I'm like, Frank, I'm drinking on the weekends. I'm 40 pounds overweight. I'm tired all the time. I had to take a nap at 2 o'clock every single day for like an hour just to catch up with my sleep. My adrenal glands were burnt out. I had high cholesterol. I had my testosterone was that of probably a 12-year-old boy. Like it was through the floor just because I was on this, my nervous system was in this chaotic cycle, right? So 10 years ago, I listened to Frank and I decided to transform my life. So I bought one of those HD flip cams. You guys remember those? Back in the day, you plug them into your computer. One of the first like vlogging cameras that there was. 720, you just plug it into your computer and then all the video is there. Anybody remember those? Show of hands. So I bought one of those and I wanted to share my journey. I believed at the time that vulnerability and sharing your story would hold you accountable. So I posted it on this app that we all use today called Facebook and YouTube. I was one of the OG influencers like 10 years ago on YouTube. Now there's influencers everywhere, right? Everywhere you look, there's an influencer for this, there's an influencer for that. But at the time, I posted what I wanted to do. And I filmed what's called the Whydenity. And if you get a chance later tonight or tomorrow and you want to take your life to the next level, type in Whydenity. It's the why and your identity. It's the emergence together that's going to give you the emotional appeal to actually carry through with what a goal or a dream might be for you that maybe you put on the shelf or you haven't really been committed to in your life. It works on anything. It works on finance. It works for physical. It works for emotional, anything in your life. Whydenity, you can look it up later on today. But I did this process via video, and I committed to my audience at the time, which was about 12 people, and my dad included and all my close family members. The first video that I made, I remember calling my old man up the next day. I'm like, Dad, you didn't watch my video, because I still had 12 views, right? It was crazy. So I posted this video, and then sure enough, every single day, I was vlogging and telling my community what I was doing, and I lost all the weight. But not only that, I did it by using the power of Mother Nature. I was using green juice as the mechanism to flood my body with micronutrients. On the cellular level, I was getting supercharged every single day. I literally became a different person. People would see me a year later and they're like, dude, what happened to you? You're like, the old version of me looked like I ate the version of myself. Like it just wasn't a good thing, right? I didn't want to take my shirt off at the beach. If I was having sex, I wanted to keep my clothes on. Like I was really uncomfortable back then. Crazy. So I posted this video, and sure enough, over time, it started to build up momentum. 10 years ago, right? We went from getting 12 views a day to building a community of about 300,000 people within the first year. Now today, we have around 7.5 million followers online, and we turned that into a sizable business called Organifi. How many people outside of Sage have heard of Organifi or have drinked it and tried some of our products in the past? Okay, I got a lot more work to do. Jamel, we got to start working a little bit harder, buddy. Just kidding. Anyway, so 5 years ago, we were working on our first product called Organifi Green Juice. And it was kind of a Hail Mary at the time. Like, we were literally losing $10,000, $20,000 a month, $50,000 a month. And I had my CPA reach out, and they're like, you guys lost like $650,000 over the past 9 months. Like, you can either call it quits, close the business down. And we had this formulation of 11 superfoods, some of the most healing superfoods on the planet at the time. 5 years ago, with ashwagandha and spirulina and chlorella. I'm like seeing people's eyes glaze over. It sounds like I'm speaking a different language right now, right? So we formulated this, and we all got grateful. I remember sitting at Vitality Tap. Anybody familiar with where that juice bar is? So we all got grateful at the juice bar, and we went around telling each other what we were grateful for in each other. And that was powerful. We changed the frequency. We changed the vibration, whatever you want to call it. We could go into woo-woo esoterics and talk about heart coherence, whatever you guys want to do, but something shifted. And within 2 weeks, we went from losing our arses, right, to legitimately selling out of Organifi green juice 5 times in a row. So our first PO was about 3,000 units, and we're like, hopefully we can sell this, right? And then now today we're ordering like 100,000 units here, 100,000 units there, and we've now sold over, I think, 3 million bottles altogether of our superfoods here in San Diego. Like, who would have thought? 5 years ago, we were almost on the brink of disaster, but we turned our passion and our purpose and our mess into our mission. And it's very apparent. You come into Organifi, you got to be prepared. You're going to get hugged. You're going to get a whole cadre of hugs because everybody loves each other in there. It's like this crazy place. We have biohacking, big infrared light walls, massage chairs all over the place. We have a gym. Like, people are crazily obsessed with healing their bodies because they know, likened to me back in the day, when you feel good, everything changes in your life. Not only that, it changes in your financial world too. So if you feel good every single day on the job, you have the energy of a teenager. Again, your mitochondria is firing on all levels, your hormones are in check, your adrenals, everything in your body feels absolutely fantastic. How could you not create massive results in the real world? And that was the premise that I started with 10 years ago when I used to travel to people's homes and do one-on-one transformations with clients that were busy entrepreneurs, that were pulling their hair out, that were overweight, that were out of shape, that were stressed, that were lethargic, and their hormones were through the floor. We would do, and you guys can do this, by the way, if you want. We got a couple people yawning in here. It's okay. If you want to do this, you can. Some of the biggest things you can do, and maybe you are doing it now because you're optimum performers, right? You're here, you're drivers, you're peak people. Number one is a blood test every 90 days to see where you are. I would go into their house, we would look at their blood. I'd have one of my naturopaths or my functional medicine doctors look at it, and we would go over it together. A DNA test, so we could see what your ancestry looks like and what kind of food you should be eating in your life for optimal performance. And then we would test other things like celiac markers. If people had some type of allergens, there's allele tests that you can do for that to really see what you should be eating, because this is super important when it comes to business and when it comes to managing stress. Super, super important. How many people have like zero stress in their life? Right? Like, you wake up, there's no stress. The employees don't give you any stress. Your business gives you no stress. Paying taxes isn't stressful at all, right? No stress. Nobody in here. So we all deal with it, but it's how we deal with it that makes the biggest difference. So at Organifi, we've dealt with it in amazing ways and in my own life, right? One of the biggest things that I do every single day is what many of you probably are already doing, but a morning ritual, a solid ritual in your life, okay? Anybody have a morning ritual in here that you do consistently every morning? So I'm kind of a freak with my morning ritual. So I wake up, I meditate for 20 minutes, and then I move on to what I like to call super hydration, because we're not drinking enough water. Most people are chronically dehydrated, so they eat more food than they need, and they don't have the energy that they need just because they're dehydrated. So I wake up, I drink about 32 ounces of warm water with lemon and apple cider vinegar, just a little bit. Now, a couple people are like, oh, apple cider vinegar, really? But it helps regulate blood sugar. It helps control some of your cravings. I mean, Paul Bragg had it right in the early 1900s. This stuff is incredible, right? So apple cider vinegar and just a little bit of cayenne pepper first thing in the morning. And then I wait about 45 minutes before I have coffee, because I love coffee, right? So I do that, and then I get grateful, and I send 3 notes to people or voice messages to people that have made a difference in my life. And we do this in our company meetings. We have it what's called Caught Being Awesome. How many people do this in the boardroom when they're sitting around and you just get to acknowledge the people that are making a difference in your life? Anybody do this in their companies? Show of hands. Changes everything, right? So we have a daily meeting that we do. And in this meeting, for I think it's 3 minutes, we literally go around and we get to acknowledge everybody in the company. People would rather take praise over a raise, right? Statistically speaking. People want to be acknowledged. But as entrepreneurs, sometimes we're not creating that type of environment. So we create an environment of acknowledgement. I do it in my morning ritual. I'm sending audios. I'm sending videos. I'm reaching out to people that I care about. First thing in the morning, I'm setting my day up for success. If you set your day up for success, you can't lose. You're going to win the rest of your life if you build these systems in your life the way that it is. So appreciation, I've done the gratitude, I've done the meditation, and then I move my body. I get to the gym, or I do yoga or something like that. And it depends on how I'm feeling that day. I like to biohack, which is using technology to enhance the biology in my body. So I track my heart rate variability. Anybody familiar with that? It's like the greatest thing that you can track for overall health. It tests your autonomic nervous system, and what we're finding is a simple Whoop band that you guys can see here, right? Whoop or an Apple Watch. You can check your HRV every day, and it'll tell you, corresponding, how hard you should push it, how much you're stressed out. We never had this data before until we literally could wear apps on our bodies that tell us how this biology is performing. So I know when I'm on the brink of a cold, right? I haven't been sick in years because now I have the data that actually shows me, and I know intuitively enough how I'm feeling and what to do. But it's called HRV. You can track it real easy. I wake up, I do a breath test, just breathing and meditating in my phone, and it literally tells me the score for the day and how hard I should push it in the gym. Not only that, I track sleep. So I'm always reviewing it. I get the sense that everyone in here loves data. Like I'm seeing in Excel spreadsheets everywhere, like Jamel, I know. And if you're gonna love tracking this stuff. So heart rate variability, looking at that in the morning, and sleep. Most people aren't getting enough sleep. So deep sleep, slow wave delta sleep, the type of sleep that restores your body at night is super critical. And there's things that you can do before you go to bed to enhance deep sleep. I'd love to show you guys this. I got about 4 hours of deep sleep last night. So my heart rate generally fluctuates between 40 and 50 at night, pretty low. I'm in a deep sleep. And I wake up feeling refreshed and energized because of that sleep that I'm getting. But I'm also setting myself up for success before I go to bed at night with sleep rituals and different things that I do. Red lights versus blue light. I'm not watching TV. I'm not on my phone, on my email, checking texts, all that other stuff. I'm winding it down. I'm slow. I'm reading before bed. I'm praying. I'm meditating. I'm doing that kind of stuff. And I like to wind it down around 7:30, 8 o'clock. I go to bed pretty early. This guy's laughing over here. But my chronotype is that of a lion. So I wake up early. I usually get up around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to start my morning ritual. And I get a jump start on it, right? So after the gym, I come back and I get ready for the day. So not having a morning ritual is just setting yourself up down the road for not giving yourself that time. As busy entrepreneurs, we're likely not giving ourselves the time to pour into us. We're helping so many other people. We need to give ourselves that time, right? We need to pour into ourselves. We're serving the world in such a big way that doing the morning ritual is going to help you out big time with that. So, and then after the morning ritual, I usually go into the office for a little bit, connect with the Organifi team, which is absolutely incredible. I remember when we just had 5 or 6 of us at Vitality Tap. Now we have about 120 people on the team. So it's been monumental to see the growth and the changes that have happened over time with the Organifi team. And what we do on an individual basis as the entrepreneurs and the people driving the business actually relates to each and every single person in our organizations. So I've seen it working one-on-one with clients back in the day to where If they go through a 60 or a 90-day transformation, their business actually 3X's in that amount of time. And I built out case studies around this because the better you feel, the better you operate, and the clearer your mind is at work and in the business that you're running, and it changes everything. But nobody sees their health as a metric that's worth tracking. It's all about wealth, right? But it wasn't for Steve Jobs. I mean, Steve Jobs would have spent anything to stay alive for another year, another day even. He had all the wealth in the world. So where are we not investing in our health? Where are we falling short? And you got to take care of you. So that's why I'm such an advocate of this stuff. You know, it may sound a little crazy with my sleep rituals and everything that I'm doing, but really the payoff is massive. And it's not something that you see right away. It's something that builds up over time. The more small stuff you do, micro commitments, we like to call it at Organifi, the more it cascades and builds up over time. So in the remaining minute that I have left, I want you to think of something that maybe you've been putting off in your own life that you haven't done, that you'd like to commit to. We have less than 30 days of this year, you guys. I know the people in this room aren't the kind of people that are downshifting into the next year, that are taking a break, that are resting, that are relaxing. No, everybody's building up momentum in here. How can we make 2020 the biggest year yet? What can we do to do that? And maybe there's something personal that you want to start working on. So take a few seconds here and really think that through. What do you want to create in 2020 with the remaining of the year left? It's so close. Got about 5. So think about that. Anyway, I'm Drew Canole. Thank you so much for having me today, you guys.